We'll move on to Kieran Tierney's performance at Sheffield United. We'll come on to his arrival at the game. But Dan, what was your assessment of his performance?
Well, I've been really impressed in the past few games, not just yesterday. I think I'm going to utter a name that I know we don't like to say, but I think he's probably the best left back we've had since Ashley Cole, to be honest, in terms of what he's shown so far. And I think if he keeps developing,
big call.
Yeah, well, I mean, name somebody else. I think he's got a lot of room for improvement, but I like everything about him. He's got a really good delivery on him, decent defender, really solid, likes to get forward on the overlap. It just seems like generally an all-round nice, decent bloke who is, from what Arteta says, willing to learn and willing to keep developing. And things are going in the right direction. I did see a tweet from Amy Lawrence who said that she's reminded a lot of Nigel Winterburn when she watched Tierney play. So that's quite a big thing as well. So, yeah, hopefully he just keeps going. The injury problems that he does have might be a concern, but hopefully he can get over that and keep going in the right direction as he is.
Layth, do you want to explain your recline back into your chair as Dan said that?
I'm just not a big fan of Ashley Cole anymore, basically. He broke my heart when he left Arsenal, so I hate any reference to him. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to look at it objectively, he was a brilliant, world-class left-back. And would Tierney be at that level? I don't know. But I watched him intently at Southampton and St Mary's on Thursday from the press box. And his athleticism was fantastic on such a hot day. He's got that real drive to sort of just run down the left flank and really link up and dovetail with his colleagues. And he carried that form on Sunday as well at Sheffield United. He linked really well. He had a couple of shots as well potentially, and he could have scored. He teed up Pepe for a chance just before half time as well. I thought defensively he was excellent. Attacking wise, there's a lot more to come from him as well. Like you say, he just needs to stay fit. If he stays fit and has a run of games, really gets his sort of mojo going and avoids injury, then he's a real prospect. And the fact that he came on, he got off the coach. I actually saw him get off the coach, when I was going into the media entrance. And Tesco's plastic bag, good on him. I'm not like I think other people have tweeted as well, but I'm not saying Arsenal's problems will be removed completely if every player had his Louis Vuitton wash bag removed from him to be a bit more down to earth. But at the same time, I love that. I love the fact that Kieran Tierney got off the team coach with Tesco's bag with his gear.
Had his meal deal for the journey, didn't he?
Had his meal deal, yeah.
He tweeted afterwards, didn't he? Every little helps in response to Arsenal's tweet. Very classy.
Did you see the comments from Arteta after the Southampton game about him as well?
Go on.
Arteta basically said he's still got to adapt because the weather here is a bit different to what it is in Scotland.
Well, it wasn't Thursday; it was baking.
Yeah, true.
But apart from that, no, I'm not sure what he meant by that. But yeah,
I do love having him back. Because after we had glimpses before that long break, it was so great to see him. Tierney, what I love about him is he never hides. He always shows for the ball. He's very confident on it. If he gets dispossessed, he generally tends to go back and win it back straight away. Hopefully, I'll be able to get into a ground and get my song going about him that I started at the Layth game. But
what was it, Glen? What was the song?
Well, it's to the tune of Dolly Parton's Jolene. I'm not going to sing it, but it goes Tierney, 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 Tierney. We signed the boy from Celtic. Now he's Arsenal's number 3. It's short, punchy, to the point, and it scans.
Need to get that going.
How many people sang that with you when we were playing the Age?
Oh, no, I did it drunk walking back on my own when the bus was full.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
It feels like he's obviously only been able to make 8 Premier League appearances this season. It feels like even all of you and Arsenal fans elsewhere are sort of reserving full judgment on him until he's got some more minutes. Is there, do you think, a worry that with Arsenal's history with injuries, he is going to be another sort of Wilshere? Is that a serious worry for you guys?
Well, I think most of the previous podcasts I always said, be wary of the fated Messiah, because he's not going to come in and solve all of our problems on his own. But I think one of the positives about having a marauding wing-back is that he actually knows how to defend. He's not all about speed, running forward and attacking. He actually focused primarily on his defensive routine before he thinks about anything offensive. And what's important for him coming through our team now is that he's got people in front of him he can lay the ball off to, so he doesn't have to run the entire length himself. And I think the way we've got the team set up at the moment, it's helping him sort of come to fruition, because he doesn't have to run 40, 50 yards. He only has to run 10, 20 yards, and then he's always pinging back to his defensive role. I mean, as you saw, he was coming back and helping, holding out anytime there was an issue in defence. Anytime the ball was released in midfield, he was always there covering. So that's something that's quite positive that we haven't seen in an Arsenal kit for a long time. And I think, fingers crossed, that maybe he is the fated Messiah that we've been waiting for.
I must admit, I did like the three at the back, which they played at Southampton and yesterday at Sheffield United as well, because it allows the two auxiliary wing backs to really bomb on, but you can turn it into a five when you're under pressure. Basically, that's what Sheffield United been doing all season. They've had Egan, they've had Baldock, who's the other? There's a couple of others as well, but they were so fluid. I was watching them, like, certainly in the first half. They were morphing from a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Even to a 5 when out of possession, and that was a bedrock of their success, basically, and the bedrock of the way they built to go forward. And I think a 3 with 2 wing backs for Arsenal works well. Certainly with Granit Xhaka coming back, and he's been really influential, and I think he's done well. And I'm not his biggest fan, but I think the last few games he's done really, really well for Arsenal, and that helps with a 3 with 2 wing backs as well. So,
while we're talking on Granit Xhaka, I saw a tweet the other day that got a fair amount of abuse below it, which said, would you, if Aubameyang leaves in the summer, would you hand the captain's armband back to Xhaka? Just like to get your reaction.
No.
Simple no.
Give it to Tierney. Give it to Tierney. That's what I'd give it to.
Yeah, would you?
Good shout.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
He certainly lead by example, I think.
Yeah.
With the Xhaka thing, I don't think all parties wouldn't want that, including himself.
No.
I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think he'd want it. I don't think I also want to give it to him. So
just Emery sitting somewhere by himself, thinking, "Please give Xhaka the armband." He's
just talking about Sheffield United. Didn't Dan ask Emery a question at the league game?
Oh, don't get me started. I'm still angry. So yeah, I asked him. It was kind of at the point when things were starting to unravel, and I asked him, Do you know your best team? Do you know who is your first choice starting 11? And he just started talking about corners. And at that point, I knew this is over. This is done.
I remember walking back to the car with Dan, and Dan was just ranting. Ranting about that answer.
That was dreadful. That performance. We were in the way, weren't we, Toby? That was such a dreadful performance after that.
Well, Layth will attest that you don't get to often ask a question, and when you do get to ask one, you want a decent answer. So yeah, hence why I was ranting a fair way on the way back.
I think you stopped ranting about Toddington services on the M1 about 4 a.m. that night, Dan.
Yeah, well, can you blame me?
That was a good trip. I saw a lot of reaction on Twitter to the coverage of the Arsenal Sheffield United game. A lot of people complaining about match of the day, in particular, and the commentary from Steve McManaman. What was your guys' take on that?
Watching football at home is obviously not as inciting as watching it in a stadium, but it's compounded and made infinitely more aggravating by an aggressive scouser shouting the word "Fletch" every 5 minutes. And then to compound it worse, the fact that one of Sheffield United's players is called Fleck. And then he just starts shouting about Fleck every 5 minutes. And it was just, I genuinely had to mute it and try and find a stream from NBCSN, because I'd rather have United States commentators than Steve McManaman talking utter twaddle.
You know how you can turn off, you can like press the red button to turn off the crowd sound? Is there a button to turn off the commentary?
I wish. Because it was really ruining the experience, because I'm not sounding like a hard done by Arsenal fan, but it does seem a lot of commentators and pundits do seem to be really frustrated when Arsenal actually succeed after they've written us off.
Yeah. And whenever sort of like a ref gave us a free quick kick and that, they look at the replay and McManaman would be going, not a lot in that, not in there really, he's just gone down easy. It's like every single time we got a free kick.
The fact that we're trying to discuss the penalty given to from Lacazette's foul and saying, it's very soft. I was like, no. He took him down in the box. It's not soft or hard. It's a pen.
Yeah.
There's no debate about it.
These are the different parameters that are set when it's Arsenal. I know we're paranoid and we feel a bit done by, but there are so many games when they'd analyse that on the highlights, particularly the likes of Shearer, and they would say, under these rules, he's been touched. He's every right to go down. That's a foul. That's a penalty. When it's us, it's like, oh, it's a soft one, really. You know, the ref didn't really have to give it. Well, what are the rules?
Yeah. Jermaine Genius is my pet hate. I can't stand him. I know, but he drives.
It's a long list, isn't it?
Yeah.
Danny Mills.
Danny Mills as well. Danny Mills.
Yeah, Danny Mills, God. But is this something that like Arteta could harness in a way and almost say, well, you know, it's us against the world, a siege mentality kind of thing?
Why not? Why not?
I mean, I felt so sorry for Alex Scott on Match of the Day too, with Dion Dublin in front of her saying he reckoned it'll be, you know, he says this. It's probably going to be a Manchester derby. It's like, oh, and Arsenal just doesn't exist, do they?
Well, do you know what? I would seriously worry about Chelsea. Chelsea looked good to me.
Yeah.
But the idea, Dion Dublin suggesting neither Chelsea or Arsenal are going to get to the finals in a Manchester derby. Does you not realise how many times we've won the FA Cup and recently?
What Dion Dublin know? He presents Homes Under the Hammer, you know.
I remember we played for Cambridge against Arsenal in the quarterfinals of the FA Cup in 1991 at Highbury. Cambridge took about 10,000 fans. We beat them 2-1. Remember that game because Lee Dixon had a massive argument with Tony Adams on the pitch. Anyway, after that digression.
Going back to your question, Toby, I think Arteta can use some of the sort of feeling to try and rile up the Arsenal players and try and get them more motivated to prove against the odds of all the commentators that they are capable. But I think the mentality is not quite there yet. But I think Arteta is trying to get the mentality that way.